I'm sure we all know at least one person who loves to place a bet. It could be as harmless as picking a winner for a sports game, or doing well in a poker night with friends. Most people do this for fun, and not as a serious hobby. However, for some, this casual betting can turn into an obsession, and if left unchecked, it can completely wreck their lives. Gambling addiction might be less talked about than other forms of dependency, but it's still a serious problem for millions of people around the world. So what makes this particular addiction so dangerous, and how can we stop it? Let's find out. Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Before we begin, we would like to ask you to please subscribe and press the like button if you enjoy our videos. This encourages us to keep making more interesting videos for you. Now let's take a look at what makes gambling the most dangerous addiction. A taste of the high life. Before we get into how harmful gambling can be, we need to understand why people get addicted to it in the first place. The answer lies in the way our brains are wired and the tricks that gambling is designed to play on them. According to research, every time a person experiences something pleasurable, their brain releases a chemical messenger called dopamine. This chemical is responsible for the feeling of satisfaction and pleasure in our body. In simple terms, it's our brain's way of saying, "Good job, you did it." When a person faces something enjoyable, whether it's delicious food, quality time with family, or achievement of any kind, the release of dopamine makes them want to repeat that experience again and again. Gambling exploits this natural process in a very clever way. Every successful bet or spin activates the reward center in our brain, releasing a surge of dopamine. It's like hitting a personal jackpot, making the person feel accomplished and satisfied. However, this feeling is short-lived, and the person quickly finds themselves wanting more. Each new gamble becomes a quest to recapture that initial euphoria, leading to a never-ending cycle of betting and disappointment. As satisfying as those small wins may feel, the losses are where things get tricky. Every time a gambler loses a bet, they don't just lose money. They lose their self-esteem and confidence as well. Feelings of guilt, shame, and remorse start to creep in. This is when the downward spiral begins. To escape these negative feelings, gamblers often chase their losses, trying to win back what they've lost and make themselves feel better. Unfortunately, this usually ends up making the situation worse, and so the cycle continues, pulling the gambler deeper and deeper into the dangerous world of gambling. The truth is, unlike drugs or alcohol, gambling offers no physical escape. It only preys on the weakness of our minds. It causes us to lose control over our own decisions and actions. That's why gambling addiction is often referred to as the most dangerous form of dependency. Family matters. Now that we understand the psychological side of gambling addiction, let's explore the damage it inflicts on families. It's important to remember that behind every gambling addict is a story of human suffering. Family members suffer too. In fact, they might endure even more than the addict themselves. Gambling addiction doesn't just affect a person's finances. It tears apart their relationships with family and friends. It causes emotional and psychological strain that can have long-lasting effects. Imagine coming home to an empty wallet after paying all your bills. Imagine having to explain to your children why they co-owned go-to-school trips because their father spent the money on gambling. These situations are all too real for many families dealing with gambling addiction. Children growing up in such an environment often suffer from emotional and behavioral problems. They might develop anxiety, depression, or even low self. In some cases, they might even show signs of aggression or delinquency, as they observe their parents fighting or neglecting their responsibilities. What's worse, they might develop a sense of shame or guilt for being unable to help their parents overcome this addiction. For these children, the concept of healthy relationships is distorted. They might have a hard time trusting others and forming close bonds. Some may even resort to gambling themselves to cope with their emotions. It's a vicious cycle that can continue for generations, but it doesn't have to. There is help available, and seeking it out is the first step towards a brighter future. Financial troubles. Now, let's talk about the financial aspect of gambling addiction. This is probably the most obvious and immediate consequence of this addiction. Gambling addiction often starts with seemingly harmless bets, but it quickly escalates, causing people to spend more and more money on betting. At first, it might be a few dollars here and there, but soon those small amounts turn into significant sums. People suffering from gambling addiction tend to make irrational decisions, putting large amounts of money on unlikely outcomes. They borrow money from friends and family or take loans, all in the hope of turning their luck around. However, instead of improving their situation, they often end up in a cycle of mounting debt. Bills go unpaid, savings accounts are depleted, and even retirement funds are not safe. Gambling addiction knows no bounds. It doesn't care about mortgages, tuition fees, or medical expenses. It only demands more money. This financial burden can cause severe stress and anxiety, both for the gambler and their family. It creates a climate of fear and secrecy. The gambler becomes increasingly isolated, hiding their addiction from those closest to them. As their financial situation worsens, they may resort to extreme measures to fund their habit, such as stealing or selling their possessions. It's a sad reality, but the financial impact of gambling addiction is devastating and long-lasting. It's one of the reasons why seeking professional help is so crucial. With treatment, individuals can learn to control their impulses and manage their finances responsibly. While it's a challenging journey, it's essential for breaking the cycle of addiction and rebuilding lives. Mental health concerns. Finally, let's discuss the mental health aspects of gambling addiction. Gambling addiction has a profound impact on a person's mental well-being. It often co-occurs with other mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, and even obsessive-compulsive disorders. People with gambling addictions frequently experience heightened levels of stress and anxiety, especially when they're about to place a bet. After losing a bet, they might feel overwhelmed with feelings of guilt, shame, and despair. These intense emotions can lead to mood swings and even violent behavior. In extreme cases, gambling addiction can also contribute to suicidal thoughts and attempts. Recognizing these signs is crucial for seeking timely help. One way to mitigate these risks is to promote mental health literacy. By educating ourselves and others about the warning signs of gambling addiction, we can create a supportive environment for those who need it. Encouraging open conversations about mental health can help break the stigma surrounding these issues. Creating a culture where people feel comfortable sharing their struggles and seeking help is essential. If you or someone you know is battling gambling addiction, know that you're not alone. Reach out to mental health professionals. There is help available and recovery is possible. It's a journey that requires patience, understanding, and support, but it's a journey worth taking. In conclusion, gambling addiction is a complex issue with far-reaching consequences. It affects not only the gambler, but also their families and loved ones. Understanding the underlying causes of this addiction is the first step towards finding effective solutions. By educating ourselves and others, promoting early intervention, and providing adequate support systems, we can help those struggling with gambling addiction to seek the help they need. Remember, knowledge is power, and with it, we can break the cycle of addiction and pave the way for a healthier, happier future. Thank you for watching. We hope you found this video informative and thought-provoking. Please share your opinions and experiences in the comments below. Your feedback is valuable and inspires us to create more quality content. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful topics. Stay curious and keep learning. See you in the next video.